Inviting in all my guides, higher selves, angels, ascended masters, ancestors, councils of light. All those wishing to work towards the highest, greatest good of all, the most unified timeline, and the most authentic expression of self. I welcome you into this space. May this be a safe space of healing, learning, expansion, and authenticity. May all those that do not stand to benefit either to or from this space simply pass by without affecting us. And may we send out a beacon of light into the TikTok universe. That's you guys. So that all that do stand to benefit to or from this space are able to find us. And so it is. Aho, aho, aho. Hello. Hi, Lisa. Thank you for the gifts already. I appreciate that. It's almost like you knew I was coming. Interesting. How have you been? I've missed you in the last 15 minutes or so. Yes, indeed. Living the dream. Hell yeah. I expect nothing less. Nothing less. It's been a good couple of days. Not gonna lie, I'm gonna hang out and chat for a little bit as people start to wander in. I even almost have an idea, or a rough idea, of something that I was wanting to talk about tonight, which is odd for me. It's not the normal, you're doing the things, doing all the things? You are doing all the things. I appreciate you doing all the things. I did. I remembered to send it out to my Discord too, and I even added everybody so that people actually know, because most of the time I just sit and do my meditation thing and then I hit the button and go, okay, I'm here. And yeah, people find me. I'm not discouraged by it by any means, but it's helpful to share it out a little bit. I am aware of that part. That's where I saw it. Hello, you two. How are you? Good to see you. Welcome in, welcome in. Oh boy. We getting all the fam gathering. All the fam family? Yeah. Hi, Sam. Welcome in. Good to see you as well. As we're gathering, as we're hanging out, feel free to say hi, how you doing? How's the day going for you? Check in. We're just kind of waiting for this to warm up a little bit, and then I'll kind of get into a ramble, I'm sure. I am going to offer readings tonight if people are interested. If not, I'm just going to kind of keep on going. We're just going to have those conversations. Hi, Gabs. Welcome in. Fearless Alchemy. What's up, Terry? Good to see you. Hi. Hey, John. Welcome in, man. Good to see you. Let's see. It must be fairly early in the morning for you over there, Tez. Fairly early? Let's see. No, okay. Well, I guess we're hitting 11 o'clock or so. Still, I appreciate you coming in and, getting your day started off with me. I'm in the shower right now. Ooh. Washing all that rust off of you, John? That's all right. Don't get the screen all soapy, or I'm not even sure where to go with that. I really don't know. Actually, yes. Awesome. And thank you guys for hopping in for the likes, the shares, and the chatting. I appreciate you all. I had a little bit of an idea of a ramble to go on today. Woke up, maybe a chill day today. Yeah, I can understand that. Sometimes those are necessary. Like it's John, I'm I'm doing a thing here. Hi Lori, hi Sarah. Welcome. No, it's okay. It's okay. We get a little spicy here now and again. I understand. I understand. Oh, is there... Oh yeah, the whole reposting thing. I remember that. Apparently now you can repost a live so that it shows up like to all of your followers and all of that kind of thing. Ha, nah, it's 11ish. Okay, yeah, that's time to be getting up. Admittedly, I slept until like 10ish today, so yeah, I get that. Starting off with the rambles. Where was I going to go? I feel like something that I haven't talked about enough recently. Hi, Tiffany. That is always kind of important to me, and that I'm actually it's a little bit of the behind the idea behind the book that I've started to write. It's going to be a little bit of a slow go, but oh, it's lagging for you. I'm sorry to hear. I'm wondering if that's part of the whole Australia connection thing. That's difficult. But where we give our power away. I'm not writing a spicy book, no. And hi, coal miner, welcome in. Good to see you. No, my book is actually going to be on a revelation that I came to during one of my rambles in one of these lives. Okay, in one of these lives, and I can barely even remember exactly like what the topic was, right? But it was along the lines of where we give our power away and how you call your power back, right? And the saying that popped out that like struck a major chord was that is how you become self-sourced. Because we, as Lisa, as you know that I like to say, we are all individual focal points of a universal consciousness, having individuated experiences. And within that, we all have our direct connection back to source, and it is through what we would call our higher selves. There's a whole lot of different verbiage that I can use to explain this whole thing, this whole concept, but the way that I like to look at it is that we all have that individual connection to self, right? We all are that singular aspect. Hi, Kimber. We all are that singular aspect of consciousness that has the direct connection back to source, right? But it's hidden. We forget. And that's part of the experience of this incarnation, right? To go through that amnesia, as it were, to forget about our connection, to be able to redefine it, to rediscover it, right? We limit ourselves in our abilities because at our source, right? At our pure essence, we're limitless, right? We are these wonderful spirit beings. And when we, step up in those dimensionalities of consciousness, as I like to say, we are getting closer and closer to that source consciousness. And in those higher dimensional realities, we don't have the limitations of time and space like we do here. But that's part of why we are here, to find that connection through those limitations and through that amnesia once again. And this is actually relates to the concept of the veil. That veil is that amnesia. It is that kind of like sheet that we put over our eyes to keep us from seeing. Saying my device is overheating. Interesting. let me know if it starts lagging. I might have to figure something else out. To start seeing through and start understanding our connection, our connectedness to all it is. Thank you guys for the gifts. I appreciate that. So when we start getting those views through the veil, right, we are tapping into those higher dimensional consciousness, those understandings that there is more interconnectedness between everything. Awesome. So we have this source of infinite power, infinite energy. We have that connection within us. Thank you. And yet, as we are here, we feel disconnected from that. We feel like we forget that we have that connection. We have that ability. We're here to experience the lack thereof, right? Or the concept of lack. And because of that, to survive, to sustain ourselves, one of the things that we do is we start looking to outside sources of energy, right? Outside sources for energy. And a real easy, basic one is simply your breath, the food you eat, the water you drink. You are taking in energy from outside sources, quote unquote, outside sources, because again, it's all part of one bigger self, but we're here having the individual perspective, the individual experience. So it seems that they are outside sources, but there are ways that we outsource our energy in less, maybe we should say physical ways, such as eating. And we do it through our interactions. We do it through our co-creation of experience with others. And in a way, like when we are more and more disconnected from source, we have this way of kind of fighting each other for energy, right? And that comes through in things like looking for validation, looking for attention, looking for, or it can come through as greed or power hungry or all of those things. I mean, power hungry, that's kind of an obvious one, right? You're searching for all that energy outside of yourself. Now, the fun thing about power hungry people, right, is to understand that those that, shall we say, are in power, right, they need a source for that power. And guess what that source is? Us. We give them that power, and that means that we are the ones that hold the power. But I'm not going to get into too much of that rant, but yeah, I think you might understand a little bit about where I'm going with that. All right. Hold on, I gotta hydrate. I freaking love seeing all you guys say hello to each other and the community. Like, it is so wonderful every time. But there are more subtle ways that we do that. And there's one, like, I love the example that's put forth in the book. Why am I spacing on it now? Oh my gosh, the Celestine Prophecies. Right? The Celestine Prophecies was one of my introductory books. It might have been like my first major introductory book into spirituality. And it's neat because the Celestine Prophecies itself is written as a novel. You know, it's written as a story of a couple of people that find these Peruvian manuscripts that essentially walk you through the stages of spiritual awakening, right? And the realizations that you have and some of the abilities that open up with those things. But one of the early ones that it mentions, right, is how we fight each other for energy through conversation. And we do so, it kind of categorizes these into what it calls control dramas. Okay, and through these control dramas, right, these are behavioral patterns, things that we do to, again, gain energy from each other, and it splits it into 4 different categories. And there are 2 that are more passive and 2 that are more active, right? And when we go from the more passive side, the world is a power grid that looks like a motherboard. Ooh, I like that. When we go from the more passive side, one of the earliest ones, and we've talked about this in my People Pleasers Anonymous group, which meets every Sunday in the Disco app, if anybody is interested. The most passive one is the poor me. Right? Now, the fun thing about the passive ones is that we may look at it as ways of giving our energy away, because we kind of do. When we are seeking energy from something outside of ourselves, we are giving our power away to that thing outside of ourselves that we are seeking energy for, right? And so the poor me is an interesting one. It is somebody that, and again, these are, well, not again, but these are generalizations. Everybody kind of like goes in between a few. Nobody's 100% one or the other, but the poor me is the kind of attitude of like, oh, you know, everything bad happens to me, like, why me, you know, blah blah blah, it's so sad, like, what's going on, blah blah. And they're trying to gain energy through eliciting, you know, compassion or what through eliciting validation through others, through the whole, like, speaking poorly of themselves or sharing their, like, downhearted perspective, right? Graveyards ever get overcrowded? I don't know, Lori, why? So, like, that's one way, and it's funny because the passive ones, again, they seem like a very disempowered place to be, because they are giving away that ability to empower themselves. They're constantly looking for other people to fill them up, to validate them. Yeah, I had a feeling that one was coming. So the next one after the poor me is the aloof. The, oh, I don't know, the like, you decide, it's constantly looking for people to engage and to, you know, get in there that way. I feel like I'm not explaining this as well as I have in other times in the past, so let me know if it's kind of making sense. As we go to the more aggressive side, there is the interrogator, the ones that will sit there and either ask questions with the intent of bringing people over to their side or their point of view, right? To get that validation of, like, you know, you ask enough questions and eventually somebody's going to go, yeah, you're right, you know, and there you go. There's that energy exchange. The most aggressive one is generally the most obvious one, I think. Is the intimidator, right? The one that's, you know, you need to listen to me because I know all the best things, and you know, the one that's always putting other people down to, like, try to make them lower themselves so that the person that is doing so can raise themselves up. Once again, it is that trying to, these are just examples of different methods that we use to try to gain energy from one another, right? Now, as you learn to heal, right? As you expand in your consciousness, your awareness of your own connection to source, however that looks, and there are so many different paths on this healing journey, but this is what I'm going to stick with, it is gaining, you know, remembering your connection to source, strengthening your knowledge of your connection to source, right? As you step into being more and more self-sourced, you have less and less of a need to gain that energy from other people, right? So you're not, see, can you tell? I'm a little bit of an interrogator. That's one of mine. It's true. But as you become more and more self-sourced, as you become more and more sure of your connection, self-assured, self-confident, healed, we can use all these terms. They're all under this same self-sourced umbrella, right? You have less and less of a need to source that energy, that validation from other people. You start to care less about other people's judgments. You stop trying to from other people. You start to care less about other people's judgments. You stop trying to, put people down so that you can make yourself feel better. You stop feeling bad for yourself and hoping that somebody else is going to come rescue you. You are able to stand confidently in your decisions and speaking your truth. These are all signs of your growing, blossoming connection to that source within. To me, that is so much like that is what all of the different healing journeys are about. All the different awakening is that realization of your source within yourself. And this is one of my favorite little things. We know that there has been a study, and a lot of you may have heard about this, that there was a study where they measured the frequencies, the energies coming off of a body, right? Coming off of a person, shall I say. And because all of our different emotions and different states of being, states of mind, they give off different frequencies. They give off different energy levels. Yeah. And those that were conducting this experiment, that were taking these measurements, right, were expecting that the most powerful energy that we can put out was going to be love. But they were wrong. It wasn't love. And it took a while for them to narrow down exactly what was happening when they would see these spikes in energy, because these spikes, they got up to 1,000 times stronger than anything else in those moments. And they discovered that what those spikes were, what they coincided with, was moments of authenticity. Moments of just showing your true, coincided with, was moments of authenticity. Moments of just showing your true self, right? Now this, to me, makes a hell of a lot of sense. Hi, BB, welcome in, good to see you. To me, makes a hell of a lot of sense. And again, coming with this whole self-sourced idea, right, is that when you are authentic, when you are authentically you, just without the judgments, without needing the validation from others, without needing, the other people's praise or any of those things, right? That is when you are channeling your direct connection to source, your individual focal point of consciousness, of that universal consciousness is coming through. So of course that's going to be the most powerful energy that we put out. It is the direct connection to the infinite energy that is being expressed, and the more that we are able to shed those layers, shed the masks that we wear, the things that we tell ourselves, those limiting beliefs, right? The stronger that connection to source becomes, and the stronger that energy of your authenticity is, and the more magnetic that you become, the more brightly your light shines. Yourself, your source. I love that, BB. Hell yeah. So, gosh, there are so many, interesting ways that we give things away, how we give our energy away. And so much of that, I'm going to call it out. The people pleasers in here, and not just those in the group, those that maybe aren't admitting it to themselves, right? The people pleasers in there. It's funny. We look at that as a way of giving our power away to be, in service to others, of putting ourselves down, blah, blah. Well, guess what? It's actually, well, the opposite. We are looking to gain energy from others by our acts of service, right? We are looking for validation. We are looking for that, oh, they're such a wonderful person. They're so kind. Yes, it is, in fact, a form of manipulation. So stop being so greedy and manipulative and stand up for your damn self. Yeah, I love spinning it that direction, man, because people pleasers hate that idea of like, yep, nope, you're being really selfish when you're trying to get other people to like you through the acts that you're doing. No, you're trying to use them. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, my other favorite way of looking at that is that people pleasing that people pleasing, another word for people pleasing is enabling. Because are you really like, oh, and this is kind of getting off of the whole like energy exchange part of things, but I host a People Pleasers Anonymous group every Sunday, once again, in the Disco app. It is a free group that is available. You can check the binks in the bio, as I have heard it put, because apparently you're not supposed to say it the right way. Yeah. Anyways, when we are thinking that we have to do things for people to help them, to save them, to any of that kind of thing, right? Yeah, if I have a moderator in here that wants to pin that, that'd be awesome. We are actually enabling them. We are enabling them to not see their own... It won't let you, weird, to not see their own power and their own ability to save themselves. Because in truth, nobody can do the work for you. Nobody can do the work for you. When you are manipulating them to be on a mood that we are comfortable with. Yeah. That is another excellent point. Also, I don't know if I said hi to you, Anna. Hi, Anna. I saw you come in. I was kind of in the middle of things, but good to see you. It's probably because you're still all soapy. John. Yep. Huh. Interesting. BB's got you pinned. It's okay to ignore my boss's text because I don't want to people please and he can wait. I would say that would be even better, an opportunity to set boundaries. As in, oh, welcome in, Matthew. To simply state, is this something that can wait? Or like, hey, I'm not on the clock, or let's see, somebody think of a little bit more diplomatic way of saying that. But because ignoring a text, like, I mean, if you can live with it, you can live with it. I don't get me wrong, I do it. Yep, it's happened. It's happened. Some things I just don't feel that I am in the place to deal with at the time. But I would encourage the opportunity to simply be able to speak your truth, to let him know. Like, hey, I'm available during work hours kind of thing. That kind of idea. Right? Exactly. Not taking business texts during home time. Even just setting that boundary in the workplace. Tell him that's going to cost him overtime. I love spinning things around from the realizing that the ways that we give energy away are also the ways that we try to manipulate others for energies. Because most people, especially those like on the more passive side of that energy exchange, those control dramas that I was describing earlier, don't want to think of themselves as selfish. And so when you point out to them, when you help them realize that what they're doing is, in a way, selfish, because it is that manipulation. It's deflecting. There's another great way of looking at it. You put that spin on it, and all of a sudden, it's not quite as tempting, right? It doesn't seem like you are being quite so selfless. That was the thing that I wanted to get. Okay, I knew we would wrap it back around. Let me fix you so I don't have to examine myself. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. And I am not going to lie. In the healers community, I see that a lot. Where people are so anxious and willing and wanting to just help out anybody and everybody around them, right? Because there's still something missing. Now, oh Lord, I've been that person before, right? I know, Just gonna make him wait even longer now. All right, that works too. I'm okay with that. Where were we? Let me fix you so I don't have to fix myself. Yes. Because it's easier to focus outside of ourselves. And that's one thing that I have adopted, a mentality and idea that I have adopted on here, side dogma, is that realize that everybody that we are interacting with, you're all reflections of self. The you that I perceive within you is an aspect of me that is being projected outwards. Yes? So when we have those opportunities to help others, perception comes from the inside. I love that. Yes. When we have those opportunities to help others, I'm not saying you should never help anybody else, because sure shit should. It's all about helping others, because that is helping yourself. But having the realization that every time that you have something to teach somebody, every time that you have something to share with somebody, every time you have a way to help somebody else out, that there is an aspect in there that is for you as well. So whenever, I don't know if there's other readers that are in here, but whenever I am doing coaching or reading, or whenever I find myself judging somebody else, there's another big one. The judgments that we hold on others. And everybody's heard the whole, the judgments that other people hold on you say more about them than they do about you, right? Guess what? That goes the other way. Yeah, that's not a one side, that's not a everybody else is doing it thing. That's exactly what the fuck you're doing too. When you're judging others, you are projecting self-judgments out onto others. So every time that you find yourself judging somebody else, every time that you find yourself wanting to either alienate, or every time you find yourself annoyed by somebody else, right? That is an opportunity to find that in yourself, to heal that within yourself. Reiki sessions are huge. Mirror Arc Science. Yes, exactly. And it's very much what I am talking about. I love seeing that when people step into either doing readings or Reiki or coaching or whatever. The clients that are drawn to you are the ones that resonate with you, which means the lessons, the healing, the information that you are sharing with them is also for you. Because there is that resonance within the wounding, right? And that's why it's also important to know, if you feel called to do that, right? You don't have to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. Perfect is fucking boring, right? Do you know how much, like, the fun in life is in the messiness, is in the, oh, I guess we're doing that now. Like, I didn't plan for this shit to happen, but all right, let's go. You know? But you teach and you heal from where you are. Right here, right now. Because wherever you are on your journey, there is somebody that is trying to get there. It's trying to get just to that point. No matter how far along you think you are, right? Now, don't get me wrong. There is a lot of ways that you can, misguide and all that kind of stuff, people. All right, let's actually shift gears into, like, when say you were wanting to start doing readings for people, right? You're tapping into that divine connection, into that source, into, higher power, whatever. But you are a mirror for the other person, right? You are offering them a chance to see themselves in a way that they haven't been able to see from, well, their side of the glass, from their perspective, right? But to do that, hi, Katie, to do that, and to do that effectively, to do that as best as you can, right? You need to clean your own mirror. My teacher back in the day used to say, a perfect man is but a mirror. And doing the self-work, spending time in meditation, spending time doing your shadow work, spending time letting go of your limiting beliefs are all ways that you polish that mirror so that you can reflect people back to themselves clearer, more directly. And that comes through in readings, like, as I like to say, when you are doing readings for somebody, when you are doing Reiki for somebody, right? You are a lens that energy, that information is coming through. Yes, I know I'm shifting metaphors from being a mirror to being a lens, but you know what? We're going to keep on working on it because they still work the same way, right? Your ego, your limiting beliefs, that sense of self, that over-identifying with, who am I kind of thing, right? That's a little gunk on the lens. That's gunk on the mirror. Yeah, I know, I shift. I probably go back and forth between the two. It is still glass. Exactly. It is still an opportunity to see through. So that's the importance of self-work. Self-work when you're trying to help others. Because everybody is on their own path. Everybody has their own individual connection to source. Mirror metaphors. Hi, Sheila. Welcome in. Of course, I love the mirror metaphors because I'm a reflector as well. So that's like, people refer to reflectors as like a cosmic mirror, that kind of thing. That's kind of my fucking job, right? That's what I do, reflect back to people. I let them see themselves in a different light. But there's an importance there. One thing that I encourage everybody to realize and to understand, whether you are a teacher, a coach, a reader, or whether you are somebody going to a teacher, a coach, a reader, or a healer, or whatever the hell we want to say, right? Is that your goal is to find your connection as the one being the provider, the practitioner. We're gonna use the blanket term practitioner. As the practitioner, right? It's to help somebody find their own connection, not to project yours onto them. You use your experience and what you've learned in finding your own path to help somebody find their own. It's not about pushing. There's only one way that you can do it. There's only one way that you can find it, because nope, there isn't. That's not the point. In fact, that's the opposite of the point, because we are all here having individual experiences for a very specific reason. Well, I mean, not a very specific reason, but that we are the universe experiencing itself in all of the different ways that it can. And because of that, it would be wasted energy to have two people having the exact same experiences. And the universe don't waste energy. Yeah, sure, it's got an infinite amount, but it ain't like, it knows what the fuck it's doing, right? So each one of those individual focal points of consciousness has its own connection back to source. And that is the beauty of it. That is part of the, stepping back to the idea of a collective consciousness came through, in that we are not getting to a point where we're all going to be thinking the same thing, right? Where we're all just going to be in agreement all the time, right? Or that we are all just going to be, one singular thought. There's an amount of that is in there, but it is an understanding that we are all individual pieces of one whole puzzle. It's all the same puzzle. Levinisms, right? It's all the same puzzle. We are individual pieces. And so there's part of this, part of the healing journey, part of this journey. I mean, I call it a healing journey. It's the fucking journey. Everybody is on that same journey, that same going from individuation to unification. I speak about that a lot too. I can go off on that one too. Let me know if you want me to dive into that whole theory a little bit more. But part of the process is that we define ourselves. We find who we are. We find all the little edges of the puzzle piece that we have, right? All of our beautiful uniqueness. And then when we find that, and when we understand, when we get rid of all the fluff and all the people telling you, nope, you should be an outie instead of an innie, right? You're in all that kind of stuff. That was fun. Anyways, when we get rid of all of the, comparing ourselves to the other puzzle pieces, right? And we begin to appreciate the beauty and the uniqueness of our own shape, of our own. Hey, no, we're not going to. Anyway. Stop it. Of our own shape, right? That is where we start to see not only our own, but the beauty of others, and how we fit into the bigger puzzle, how it all connects, how my. I was gonna go with the outie and anything again, but it's just. How one piece fits into the next, right? And how we come together to make a beautiful puzzle, a beautiful, bigger, grander picture, right? I know. You guys know I've gone a little bit on the spicy side recently. I'm toning her down just a little bit. We're trying to be a little bit serious. I was getting on a good roll here. I want to keep that going. But that puzzle analogy, right? We're going to take this right back to kind of where we started. That puzzle analogy. It is you finding that you have your own individual connection to source. You are self-sourced, and realizing that it's the same source that everybody else is connected to. Everybody else, everything. It is that universal consciousness within which that we play. And this is playtime, goddammit. You better be having fun. We having fun? You know, they say they liken consciousness to awareness, right? Does that go both ways too? As in, if I am aware of something, does that make, well, that brings it into awareness, so that must be part of consciousness, right? Ooh, that's an aspect I'm going to work on a little bit. Maybe not right now, though. We'll see. We'll see. If my life experiences were the exact same as yours, would I be you? No. Because it's not about the experiences. It's about the perspective that you take on those experiences. It's how you view them that shape who you are. And that opportunity, like that shift, that being able to shift your perspective is also how we shift the reality around us. You know? Now you may have sent me down a fun rabbit. Excellent. I love rabbit holes. Because again, like even with with like identical twins, right, who are genetically exactly the same, and they're brought up in the same house and likely spend a lot of the time experiencing the same situations, right? They are still viewing those things from individual perspectives. They may have the same framework built in there, right? But that perspective, that point from which they view it, is going to be unique. And with that separation, with that individuation of perspective, right, comes different opinion, different experience, different belief, different understandings. Hi, Colleen. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Was that my conversation with people tending? Just my source connection. You got one too. Notice that my conversations with people tend to go down the same paths. How much of that do you think is you guiding it? How much of that is simply, or do you think would be simply you finding people that you resonate with, people that have similar experiences? I'm having a realization of like, yeah, there is one conversation that comes up with like a very large percentage of the people that comes up in my life all the time, right? And I've wondered so many times what it means. What's the point of it all? And generally that conversation starts off with, "You're really tall." Yep, I know. I'm not gonna get that's not one of the conversations that we need to get into here though. For those of you who don't know, 6'8", like, yep, I'm tall. I get it. I understand. Anyways, part of why I'm sitting down so we can be on your level. Well, you are really tall. I know, right? It's true. But that's only from your perspective. From my perspective, everybody else is just short. I don't know what's wrong with all of you guys. So Matthew, to kind of get back to you on that, like habitual, it can be, yes. It can be a sign of something that you are processing. I prefer being short. That I don't blame you whatsoever. Like, don't get me wrong, like, I look down on short people, but it's not because I think less of them. I mean, I think there is less of them, but no, God. See, this is why we don't go here. This is why we don't go here. Fun size. Exactly. Right? But no, all right. It's okay. So I joke, but truly, I gotta hand it to short people because they can't reach it themselves. Okay. I know. Focus. Focus. I did it to myself. I brought up the conversation. As I like to say, I like to aim for the perfect balance of deep thoughts and dad jokes. I can only be serious for so long before I need a giggle break at some point. I need to find something silly because I spent way too much of my life taking life way too seriously, and that ended me where? Well, deep in depression. It wasn't fun. Oh boy, I might be. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm done. I'm done with the short jokes. Done with the short jokes. Laugh, silly cobra chicken squirrel. What? I don't even know. Yeah, it's funny to me because I love deep conversation. I love getting into, the just people's understandings of reality and like diving into the everybody builds their own model of reality in their mind through their experiences, through their perspective, right? And getting to understand how other people view reality and how other people see reality working, right? That is an opportunity to expand your own. So I love getting into in-depth conversations. And the more that you are open to expanding your consciousness, your awareness, your understanding, and understanding that we are all looking at the same thing from different perspectives, right? The more that you can see exactly that. How we're all describing the same things, but a lot of times we will use different symbolism, different words, different, terminologies, different methods of thinking, different methods of logic, those kinds of things. But as I like to say, every science, every philosophy. Hi, Lauren. Welcome in. Good to see you. I saw you. I did see you the first time, but I was kind of like I was in the middle of one. I say hello in my head a lot, and it doesn't come out my mouth, and then I kind of forget. But I do mean that I do try to greet everybody. Welcome to my life. I'm glad you're here. Where were we? All right. Every scientist, like every science, every philosophy, every religion, every spirituality, every individual fucking perspective, right? They're all looking at the same thing. They're all looking at existence. They're all looking at how the universal consciousness is experiencing itself. And so with that, to understand that, I like using the big old like disco ball kind of metaphor. If we had a clear disco ball, maybe just a multifaceted prism, if you will, to understand that every person, every perspective, every idea is one of those faces, one of those facets on the disco ball. And they're all looking inward to the same ball. The same thing. That's why the prism works a little bit better than disco ball, but I like the idea of a disco ball because they're shiny and pretty and all that kind of stuff. But to understand things like the fact that science and religion are both trying to explain the same thing. They're both trying to explain existence. They're coming at it from two very different sides. The science tends to look at the minutia of things. They want to get into the little details and understand how these little different atoms work and blah, blah, blah. And the religions, spiritualities generally look at the bigger picture and try to put it together from that direction, right? And it's a beautiful thing, a beautiful time that we live in these days, because science is getting to the point, like within quantum physics, of realizing so many of the teachings that have been taught for eons, millennia, right? Hi, Leonora. Welcome in, Queenie. I appreciate you. Hope you're doing well tonight. And we're starting to see so much of how all of that plays into a role of consciousness. It's all about the awareness that we are creating this experiential reality so that we can experience it. Can I scientifically explain the weenus? Yeah, well, see, the weenus, there needs to be, since it's on a joint, right, and it's a hinge joint, if you think of just the amount of, the shift in the amount of skin that it is going to take to cover that joint, like that surface area on the outside is going to be much longer in the flex direction than it will be in the straight direction. So we end up with this little weird like patch of skin that's all like wrinkly and kind of loose and jiggly and whatnot, because when we then flex the elbow, it is. Does that make sense? Sounds so bad? What? Do you not like the look of my weenus? Yep. Anyways, gonna move on from there before I get bananaed. Woo! You wanna know a fun fact? Nobody can lick their own elbow. How many of you just tried? Put a one in the chat if you tried. Come on. I want to know. Okay. Nope. Elbow. Sound funny, right? You can't get there. I know. We'll get it back together. Well, I have to have the silliness break. Right? We were discussing this earlier. Almost, Ken? Do you just have a really long tongue? Think you want to say ankles? Well, I mean, I can lick my ankles. Ahem. What's funny is I don't know exactly like how long the chat delay is in here, so I'm not sure exactly which one of those you guys are laughing at right now. Okay. No, there's a rule. No free ankle pics. Nope. So we're gonna need we're gonna bribe you guys. We're gonna need a gift of some sort. Nope. Who's gonna do it? It's a hard rule in here. Now, it looks like, yep, it's puzzle time. Ooh, it's a pretty waterfall. Nailed it on the first shot. Hell yeah. You guys don't believe it? Like, that's true. Oh, hold on. Piece of food. I don't want to actually lick my ankle. You already became a super fan? Did that? Oh, so I do have a setup for that being super fan. I did not see a notification come through. I was going to be looking for that, but thank you. I appreciate that. Are you ready? See? Licked it. It's never happening again. That's never happening again. All right. At one point in my life, I could get both feet behind my head. So maybe that'll make sense. I can appreciate that. Thank you, Leonora. You're awesome. Oh no, that's gonna hurt. That's just gonna hurt. I can. Let's see. Can I make room to show you this part? No, I don't think I can. Maybe. All right. I don't want to back you up too much. Here's a fun one. Okay. So, right. Oh, we broke a little bit. We ready for this? Right?
Yep.
To give you a little idea. It's nice to stay flexible. It's helpful. Okay. Hold on, this move. Ooh, thank you. I love that it has a little like blush thing in the middle of that, along with that one. All right. Now we're going off the rails. We are way off the rails at this point. Yeah, which is hilarious. The whole like could put him in a suitcase because I'm 6'8". Like I'm not short, you know. I think I actually have a suitcase that might be big enough. Anyways, self-sourced. Where else were we gonna go? Ooh. Thank you guys for all the gifts. I do appreciate you. And all the likes. Jeez, 29,000 already? Go get it. Let's see if you do. No, it's full of things that I need to sort at the moment. I used it to bring things back from my house, and I just don't want to. I don't want to do it. Don't want to do it. Just don't. So no. Nope. If you're happy and you know it, tap that app. ADHD aura activated. 100%. 100%. Shall we get back to it? I'm sure we can find another good ramble conversation, another good ramble subject. I am also open for readings if people want to do those. I do not mind just rambling, though. I will say. Also, for those of you, if anybody in here does not know, which I think all of you are familiar with me, I do also do coaching sessions. If anybody wants to dive into some of their own personal, like finding your own self-sourced source, that your own connection, let me know. I am available. Sounds like a tagline for a really good drink supplement. Which one? I've already forgotten where I went with that. Is it letting you pin any of those things? Can I pin things? I can. All right. ADHD activated. Yeah. Oh, you should close out and come back in. So one thing that I've noticed, why am I suddenly out of focus? What the hell? Yeah, just dip out and come back in. Hold on just a second. Do I look out of focus all of a sudden? I seem like I look blurry. Is that just my eyes? I don't know. Am I going blind? God damn it. No, I don't look blurry. Well, I'm gonna clear that off anyway. I don't care. Just my eyes. All right. Yeah. Oh, and I did get a notification. Superfan Lisa's Living the Dream joined. Wonderful. Go ahead and try it now. Because sometimes, like, I've noticed that if I am in a chat or if I'm in a live that I moderate for, and I shrink it down, like I, make it the little screen on the side of my phone, and then do something somewhere else, and oftentimes somewhere else in TikTok, and then come back to that chat, that all of a sudden I can't do my moderator things, so I have to jump out and come back in. There's a thing. Anyways, there you go. She found it. Woohoo! What did you shrink down? What? Go team, go! Lisa's becoming a super mod. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Flaunt it, baby. Yep, you did. Oh no, I know what she was pointing at. She was pointing at. Sure, we'll go with that. Oh, thank you. Wait, were you talking about me? So right now I've got my sessions listed at 75, and they are, I believe it's listed as an hour long. I don't think I've ever had one shorter than an hour and a half, because I do like, here's the thing that I've been kind of, working around in my head, that I want to like start specifying a little bit more of like different specific topics or things that we could be working on together. But at this point, my coaching sessions, like, you get to decide. I think if you know me from hanging out here, right, you have an idea of the things that I can help you out with. The other aspect of it is that I work very well intuitively when it comes to doing sessions, as in, started off just conversationally to see, check in, where are you at? And we can get into the kind of the meat and potatoes of whatever is bothering you at the moment, whatever is the most pertinent thing that you're needing to work on to get over your current hurdle, that kind of thing. And because of that, like, sometimes it does take a little bit of time to get into that point, but I like to just simply allow the session to go until I feel like we got to a meat and potatoes part of it. You know what I mean? So I could probably just even schedule them for an hour and a half and go that way. Because like I said, I don't know if any of them have been less than an hour and a half at this point. Because I don't know, I enjoy it. Meat and potatoes. Exactly. Yeah. So, and if you're curious, feel free to DM me, let me know. Another thing, I told myself I was going to get this link made up before I started announcing it, because I'm not sure exactly when this is going to happen. I want to start doing classes, group classes on a variety of subjects. One that has come to mind that I think I would be able to put a nice little class together about is on channeling. Understanding channeling, how to, like, various ways of practicing, just all of the ins and outs. Like, I can run you through different practices, but again, a lot of it is going to be learning how to find your connection to source and understanding how that works. And I think I can put a good, hour and a half together for that. And my favorite part about classes is that I can do them for a little bit cheaper than the one-on-one things, because it's like a group thing going on. So doing a class on channeling, I'm going to write it down just to remind myself to make the link. So do stay tuned, come in, hang out, or just DM me if you would like to be made aware of that, so that when I set a date, I will let you know. And it'll probably just be one class. I'm guessing it'll be an hour and a half or so from what I've got the rough outline of thus far. Schedule. Another one that I put together a class, and I advertised it once, it didn't get a whole lot of interest, and then life got a little busy for me to actually be able to do it and put it together, but would be a class on protection. Understanding all the things behind protection and giving you, like, yes, giving you some ideas, some practices, but giving you the real, like, ins and outs of how to become solid in your field, right? So that you understand that you get to decide what affects you. That's the key. That's the key, right? And I have some practices and things that I could share with that too. So if those would be things that you would be interested in, just go ahead and send me a DM that even just says channeling class or protection class or that whole thing. Yes, the autonomy, the keys are in you, exactly. And it's one thing, like with my classes, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I'm a little cerebral, right? So I am going to give you a number of different perspectives on understanding the subject, understanding like the framework that's going on behind, the energetics, the interaction of consciousness going on there. And I will also give you some practices that you can apply to these things that will help you that'll help solidify them in your consciousness, in your reality. Those kinds of things. Yeah. What? Really? Who knew? For those of you who know astrology, I have got 6 Gemini placements in my chart. I am all air, baby. Wait, what? Okay, I've got 6 Gemini placements. I've got Sun, Moon, Venus, North Node, Chiron, and Midheaven are all in Gemini. And then I have a Virgo ascendant. So I've got air with, like, I try to be grounded and professional. I'm full of air, right? That's where the inflated ego comes from. I can't even say that seriously. I'm all right with it. Holy airball, right? It's fucking hilarious. Yeah. So, again, another one of the fun part of, being me, right? Being a reflector. The airbender. I do like Tai Chi. And the empty force. I was like working. I used to do candle exercises that I would put candles out from a distance, just using energy. It was fun. So like, yeah, the airbending, it actually kind of, I've done a little bit of that, I suppose. One could look at it that way. Right? Exactly. I unfortunately I don't have a candle here. So, we can do it this way. Hold on, wait. Oh, this is gonna be funny. This is gonna be great. All right. Nope. Ready? Here. See? Huh? No. All right. Moving right along. Anyways, yeah, magic. Ooh. I can do that. I bet you can. Let's ground down. Bring it back down a little bit. Got that whole life floating away. Anywho. One thing about me. I don't know if you guys noticed, those that were here before the silliness came in, that were here for the more philosophical rambles at the beginning, is that there is... I have learned to tap into a vast amount of wisdom. And I say that without ego, because one of the things that I want to do is show everybody how to do that. But I have a difficulty in narrowing it down into like what I can offer here, there, the other thing, right? Like just to decide what to do a class subject on, deciding what to do it on is maybe not the most difficult part for me, but a very difficult part of it for me. So if there are things that maybe you would like a class on, that you have heard me speak on in this community, in lives, or even in my videos, let me know. I would love to go further into things. I love to teach. I love to help people understand so that they can gain their own understanding. It's not, and I'm fully aware of, it's not the point of like, you need to listen to me because I'm right. It's, I want to give you a framework for understanding so that you can understand it better yourself, so that you can find your own understanding. Not just take what I say as like, this is how it is, this is the goal. Is that people pleasing? To me, it is looking for input. So I would say no. It's more seeing what other people want because I want to do it. So the whole like service to others and healing the people pleasing thing, right? It's not that you should never be in service to others. It's not that you can't do nice things for people. It's not that is always getting, that is always giving your energy away. It's the intention behind it, right? And more often than not, we have that subconscious intention of like, if I do this, then these people will like me. That if I do this, that's how I will receive love, right? How I will receive that energy. So for me, will receive love, right? How I will receive that energy. So for me, I had to make the shift I went completely selfish for a while. I gave up on a lot of things, including life. And yeah, a little bit of burp for confirmation. But in kind of dealing with that and healing from that, right? I went through a period where I got selfish with it because I had an NDE. For those, if anybody knows what an NDE is, you can go ahead and type it into the comments, but I'm going to kind of avoid saying it. That was self-induced, right? And I was in the void. Yep, that. One of those. And it was self-induced. And I found myself in the void. It was nothingness, right? I had no body. I had an awareness. And that's it, right? And I guess I can go into the full story. As I was sitting there, I felt guilt. I felt shame. I felt a loneliness, right? That just ran so deep. And as I was sitting there feeling bad for myself, a column of light showed up. And it was in my understanding, it was the love of the universe. One could call it angelic energy, one could call it Christ consciousness, one could call it source itself, those kind of things. It was because I don't typically work with my clairvoyance very much. Like I don't have a lot of strong associations in imagery. So what it was a pillar of light that I am familiar to working with from Reiki, right? So that's one of the first visuals that I got. But it was just this most overwhelming compassion. And I shouldn't even say overwhelming compassion because it wasn't overwhelming. That wouldn't be compassionate. It was like just the energy of a warm hug on a soul level of just feeling seen. And I broke down and cried. And I love saying that I cried because I didn't have a body or tears or those kind of things, but I cried. And I said, I just want to go home, right? And this energy, this column, became like a tendril. And it reached out, and all it said was, not on your time. Not on your time. And it wasn't an angry, it wasn't an upset. It was the most loving, compassionate thing. And it came over, and again, it's a weird way to describe it because I didn't have a body at the time. But it reached out and it brushed my cheek, wiped the tears away kind of thing, that kind of gesture, and went to my crown and just topped me off. It wasn't a sudden fill me with light and oh my gosh, I know my purpose kind of thing. It gave me just enough that I knew that I was going to keep going. And from there I woke up. I don't know how much time passed. I know it was hours. It was when I lost consciousness, it was light outside and it was dark out when I woke up. And from that, so I got told basically by the one thing that actually has a say in it that I don't get to choose when I go. And to me at that point, it felt like saying that I was stuck here. Right? And so I knew that I couldn't, because that was like my third attempt in 3 years. Right? So I came out feeling like I was stuck. And I was still a little upset about it. And I still, like I said, it wasn't that beautiful, like, oh my gosh, I know my purpose kind of thing. It was just a, nope, keep going. You're going to keep going. So I spent some time being a little angry, being sad. I decided that if I am stuck here, I'm just going to do what I want to do. I'm going to get selfish about it. Because this, and to give you a time frame, this was 3.5 years ago or so, I think. Yeah, right around there. 3.5 years ago or so. But I had already had awakenings. I had been aware. I had been Reiki certified. I got Reiki certified 14 years ago or so, so I wasn't a stranger to the spirituality world. And I knew that I am somebody that people get, put in front of me, that I am meant to heal and that I offer, healing for me. Like, as I was saying earlier, everybody that comes to you for healing also offers a chance for you to heal part of yourself, right? I was aware of that. Maybe not as intrinsically as on the reciprocal side of it as I am now, but I stopped doing that. I knew it happened, and I was doing it from a people pleaser energy, right? Of being that person, because it's what I should do kind of thing. Right? Not because it's what I wanted to do. And so I would literally things would happen and I would see the synchronicities and I would look up at the universe and say, fuck off. Right? And here's the thing, you are the universe experiencing yourself. Well, you never really know how badly you could fuck yourself until you tell the universe to do it for you. I don't recommend. All right. This is lesson time. I went through this so you don't have to. Anyways. I went through some hard times, right? And basically I sat around and, did what I wanted to do, which a lot of it was sitting around playing video games, doing the D-rugs and just not participating in life because I didn't want to, right? And as I was doing that, after some time, I started, getting online. I got into communities on Twitch and started just being myself. The kind, the helpful, because I wanted to be. right? Like I realized that I missed that opportunity. I missed the fulfillment that it gave me in being able to help, to teach, to heal. Also, hi Quinn, welcome in. Oh yeah, don't say it can't get worse. No, don't do that. That's not a good one. Don't tempt the universe, because they will show you how. But it shifted in me, because before that experience, that like people pleasing, and when people like, so I live in a relatively small town. I have for a while now, and my parents are in this area, and my parents would tell me like, oh, I ran into such and such at the grocery store, and they were kept on saying like, oh, he's such a nice, they were talking about you like, Lev is such a nice guy, he's so great and wonderful, and blah blah blah. And that was like, it was like nails in the coffin to me. It felt like that was part of, like they were explaining pieces of what was taking my life force away, right? Because I was doing it from that people-pleasing perspective, right? But when I shifted and realized that I do it because it's part of who I am, and I like that part of me, and I like being that part of me, right? I started doing it for myself, not for others. I did it not seeking love, but I did it out of love. And there's the big difference. It's when you do an act out of love as opposed to seeking love, it is no longer draining. It's reciprocal. It is filling. And when it acts like that, it is filling my cup and filling others. And don't get me wrong, I still have to draw boundaries around it. Sometimes I don't feel like it, but having that understanding of how it works, right, has allowed me to respect those boundaries in myself, respect those boundaries for other people so much more. And so that it's interesting, like the same act with a different intention, with a different understanding, what's behind it, shifts from being a draining act, an act of giving power away, giving your power away, to an act of empowerment, both of self and other. It goes from a transactional exchange to a resonance, a growth. Have you read How Can I Help by Ram Dass? I have not. Always had a hard time telling the difference. I'm going to catch up a little bit here. Yeah, Quinn. You're not alone. Not alone. And yes, for all those that like glad you're here, that kind of thing. Yeah, me too. Me too. Hasn't been easy, but it's been good. From transactional exchange to resonance for growth. Precisely. And I think that's one of the big shifts that we are going through right now. Hi, Kayla. Welcome in. Is that so far, like in the past and up until this point, we have such a transactional perspective of fucking everything, right? Just everything. Is this for that? I give you this, you give me that, right? That kind of thing. That it's always it's at best a zero-sum game, that it's an even gain. Whereas when we start truly supporting and empowering each other, it becomes a resonance exchange, it becomes a building of those energies, an empowering of all, which is a net positive for everything, right? We are spreading that, we are spreading that self-sourced connection, that connection to infinite energy source out and around. We are bringing it into this reality, using it to create and build the new earth, the new earth frequency. Love, authenticity, understanding. A collective consciousness, a collective of individual consciousnesses working towards the greater good, working for the whole, not against them. Hi, Mother Earth. Good to see you, Lindsay. How you been? It's been a little while. I was gonna say Mother Earth Oracle because it used to be Mother Earth Oracle, but now it's just Mother Earth, and that's actually Hi, Mother Earth. That was actually really, really well timed with the conversation. I'm glad you're here. Oh, that reciprocation, that resonance. I mean, do you guys know the idea of resonance, like in the physics, in physics itself, kind of thing? Using resonance, you can take down a bridge with a hammer, single hammer. Right. In fact, who was it? Was it Tesla? It might have been Tesla that demonstrated that. But it's the idea that everything has a frequency, right? Everything vibrates. Everything has a frequency that it resonates at, right? As do that everything has a frequency, right? Everything vibrates. Everything has a frequency that it resonates at, right? As do emotions. As do thoughts. As do, I don't know, whatever. Everything. Literally everything. This has a frequency. It's actually got a really cool frequency. I like that one, right? But when two things are resonating, they're vibrating back and forth at the same time. And with that, they build on each other. They feed each other so that they vibrate stronger and stronger. Like that's the idea of like how you can break glass with a sound, right? You hit that specific frequency, you hit the frequency that the glass resonates at, the vibration gets stronger and stronger until it breaks the brittleness of the glass. It's more energy, more vibration than the brittleness of the structure of the glass can handle, right? That's the power of resonance. Being able to shatter things with a sound, with light. Ooh. Ooh. John Coltman did it? Awesome. Was that the bridge one that I was thinking of? Awesome. That was a really cool one. Like I actually really liked that experiment because what he did, right, was I believe it was on a suspension bridge. So he had this big cable that went across the entirety of the bridge, and he held a stethoscope to the cable and he hit it with a hammer and timed it, right, and timed how long the sound took to get to the other end and come back. So he timed the echo, right, and he divided that by half. And then he started tapping with the hammer exactly on that resonance point, right? On that vibration. And with that, it got to the point where the whole bridge was just shaking up and, he damn near broke the bridge. It was a really cool experiment. I really dig that idea. The power of resonance and finding those that you resonate with. And the fun thing about being... Thank you so very much for joining, Lisa. I appreciate you being here. I'm guessing oh no, it's not quite bedtime for you. All right. Like boats in water, yeah. The cool thing about human beings and our own auras, our own electrical fields, right, is that we don't have a set resonance. We don't just have one. We have the ability to shift. We have the ability to raise and lower in frequency. And as we do that, and this, we're getting a little bit out of like the physical ideas of frequency, and we're getting more into the ideas of, the emotional frequencies, which, again, they are still measurable, scientifically, right? But as we shift, oh, thank you. As we shift ourselves in frequency, right? As we heal ourselves, step closer and closer into that self-sourced authenticity. We allow those around us the opportunity to resonate with us. I believe I've said it before that, and actually a number of people have said it before, it's not one of my things, but it is an understanding of mine that no healer actually heals another person, right? Offer a frequency. You offer a frequency that they then get to choose whether or not they integrate into their system, whether they are going to resonate with it or not. But you don't have to specifically be intentionally healing. When you heal yourself, when you stand in your authenticity, when you live from a space of love, that is a frequency that you are vibrating at, and you radiate that outwards. Because our bodies, our skulls, are not Faraday cages, right? They don't stop electromagnetic frequencies. We are constantly having this field around us. So as we radiate that energy around us, everybody that enters our field has the opportunity to sample that resonance, to accept that. You can heal simply by healing yourself. Healed people heal people. It's real common when people say hurt people hurt people. Healed people heal people. It goes the other way. I actually think that is a good place to leave it. It's been about 2 hours or so. Yeah. I think we're good. So, on that, go on out there, find that self-sourced connection, treat yourself with love and kindness, grace, find out how to be you, all right? Heal yourself, heal the world, spread the love. I feel like I could slip a couple more cliches in there, but I think I'm just going to call it. I love you guys. Thank you very much for hanging out with me, and we'll see you again sometime soon. All right. Bye.